Muted. Okay, so I switched back to unmute and then I didn't unmute. Okay, so we are continuing our campaign. I'm going to repeat all that. I'm going to continuing our campaign. Well, we are professionals. We are professionals. Continuing the campaign in Dungeon Crawl Classics. We're using the thousand islands zines as kind of a setting, and so far Nikki, who's our player, she's running two characters. They have been traveling for about 6 or 7 days. Well, since the campaign started, there was a little bit of kind of prologue, and you are now approaching the Death Rolled Kingdoms, which is peopled by crocodiles as well as humans, seeking adventure and treasure and whatever else. Oh, and I guess I should say too, I keep calling them coins. I finally figured out that they use silver here, so it's silver coins. so I don't know how you've been noting it down, but it's silver. So if that matters at all to you, silver is what it is versus gold. In Dungeon Crawl Classics, you don't get experience for treasure per se, so it doesn't actually matter what it is, but it will matter when you go to buy stuff, I guess. If you decide to buy stuff. Anyways, tell us about your two characters, and we'll get going. What's been going on?
Well, I'm playing Yuna, who is a thief, and Orin, a wizard. And on our last adventure, we rescued the granddaughter of Darren, an old man who was attacked by bandits who took his granddaughter to these ruins where they met with much misfortune. One of them was actually impaled at one point, so yeah, not a good day for him. And then the priest was wearing his head as a loincloth, so really bad day for him. And I got to... Yuna snuck in with Orin. They saw a bunch of people chanting, and Orin went beast mode and became their god of worms and provided distraction so that Yuna could spirit the girl away, and we managed to get her safely back to her grandfather. And now we're on our way to the Death Roll Kingdoms, and Yuna and Orin are both very happy to have escaped with their lives and have a little more money. And Yuna's thinking, boy, I'm really glad that Orin didn't just kill me when he caught me breaking into the alchemist shop, because he's been very useful to have around on these adventures.
Right, exactly. it's right. He's useful. That's one way to say it. Okay, so I got a little box text. I love my box text. So you're approaching what are called the gates. You'll find out eventually. I did a very Burroughs thing there. If you ever read Burroughs, he always does that. He tells you something, and then he always says, and the characters found that out eventually. That way you know what it is. That way he doesn't have to keep calling it not the thing. He just says what it is. All right, so there's what appear to be might have been some kind of archway or bridge going across this wide expanse of river that you've been going up. I mean, not as wide as it has been, but it's maybe a quarter mile wide. One is black, made of basalt blocks, none smaller than an ox. Right. One is milk white, made of marble columns, interlaced, held up by no architectural principle you can see, except maybe sorcery. As you're kind of heading towards this archway, which becomes the gate into the Death Roll Kingdoms, you look and you can see the water here is basically crystal clear. And as you look down through it, you can see sunken below the surface, anywhere from 10 feet down to maybe 30 or 40 feet down. I mean, that's how clear the water is. You can see that there is a city, a very ancient city of stone that, of course, is no longer peopled. Let's see. You can see, almost strangely, I guess, but maybe not so much once you cross the arches and you kind of see that there are other, smaller stream, well, I'll call them rivers because not really big, they're big enough for barges. Other rivers kind of coming into this area, so it's almost like a delta area. And you almost, it's almost kind of creepy and strange that all you're hearing is kind of the wilderness and the water. This whole day you've been cruising around. It's been very calm. As soon as you cross those gates, you can hear the chatter of people. You can hear kind of excitement. You kind of go around a bend a bit, and you see all these other rivers kind of coming in. Like I said, it's almost like a delta with lots of small islands dotting it. You see what is clearly the primary island kind of sitting in the center. It's kind of raised up. Uh, you see crowds of men and also swimming in the water and also on the land. You see lots of crocodiles, a lot of them. They seem to be interacting, with the people. Uh, Many of them seem to have like people meaning humans, with them. So like you'll see a crocodile that's walking, and it will like in its jaws have like a leather thong that runs back, and maybe it's around the neck of two human slaves as it's kind of, and that the humans are carrying baskets and stuff through the market. You can see on this large island, there's lots of trade going on. People are setting up their stuff. They're interacting. They're trading with each other, and you see several smaller islands kind of dotted around as well. One of which appears to be the face of a very very large statue is now laying on its back, I guess. So you just see like the face coming up out of the water with the nose and like the cheeks and everything, and you can see that's dotted with various buildings that are made of reed and wood. You don't see anything aside from the arches. You see nothing, no structure here made of stone. And yeah, so you got kind of the main island that seems to have a lot of people on it. The one that looks like a face seems to not have as many people on it right now. But clearly it could house a lot of people because it's got a lot of like I say, like shacks and things on it.
Okay.
So where you want to go?
Let's go to the big island where all the people
Okay.
are.
All right, sure. It's a little bit after midday as you kind of approach this island, and you can see that there's lots of docks of various sizes. Some large enough that large barges can pull up to, and you see men loading and unloading various items. Some of it looks like raw material, wood, some kind of strange leaves that seem to be piled up, almost like the way they would like pile hay, like kind of packed together like that. And then you see lots of woven baskets that seem to be filled with either food stuffs or other types of things. You even see some that are like these big baskets that have like, you can see spears sticking out of like poles of weapons. You see some people that are dressed like in kind of like how you're dressed, which is like kind of from the civilized areas that you're used to. And you see a lot of people, probably the vast majority, are mostly just wearing like loincloths, a very simple, fabric wrapped around them. Mostly everybody's barefoot. The few people that you see with any kind of weapons on them usually just have like a dagger. You see maybe one or two people with a like a medium sword or something, but nobody except for maybe a few of the barges that seem to have like guards on them. Most people seem, which is not uncommon, I guess, in a town to not really be heavily armed. You don't see any archers or anything like that. But yeah, as you approach, there's plenty of small docks that you see where there's lots of little canoes, which is what you're in, I guess, that you could easily tie up if you'd like.
Yes, I would like to do that and explore the island. We're probably running low on things. We probably need rations, and boy, there's crocodiles everywhere. I want to talk to a crocodile.
All right. Do you just want to approach a random crocodile, or you mean like eventually you want to talk to a crocodile?
No, eventually. I'm just saying it's something that has to happen.
Seems fair. Yeah. So you start to you tie your boat up. There's plenty of like pylons. You can just tie it up. Nobody's asking for a fee to do it. It all seems very kind of loose and casual. People are coming in and out of their canoes. Again, some people are like loading up. Again, it seems like most people, like where you're from, maybe people like using a lot of lights, like sacks and backpacks and wagons and carts. Here you just see most of the people carrying like these kind of woven baskets. That seems to be the big tool that's used to carry transport things, except for the very large loads, of course. And as you kind of come up, you can hear as you come up, really, there's a lot of kind of noise and hustle coming from maybe what is a little bit deeper in. You kind of follow the streets towards it, and you see that there's a very large market square. And as you can imagine, a market square, there's people who have set up like wooden tables. There's also people that just have like rugs, like very nice, like heavy duty rugs on the ground. The streets are primarily dirt, you can tell, but as you're walking, you can feel cobbles under them. So this was probably, as you have heard, this was some kind of ancient kingdom. So they probably built up on the old cobbles that are there, but they have not been maintained. So it feels almost like more natural, but you can tell there is a more solid street underneath. And like I say, they're selling everything that you could possibly think of, but probably most notably, as soon as you kind of come in, you see a very large crowd gathered in the center, and they seem to be people running around taking bets on something and gambling as they're gathered around to watch some kind of spectacle.
All right. Yes, getting my bearings here. That seems interesting. Let's go see what they're looking at, Orin.
Okay. Right, so Orin nods. I run Orin. That's me running Orin once in a while. Yeah, so you guys head towards the spectacle, and you make your way a little bit to the front, and you can see that it looks to be some kind of a like a street brawl, not like a random street brawl, but like a organized like a bare fist kind of fight. You see that there are two humans. They're kind of like talking smack to each other, and then they both kind of go back, kind of on opposite sides of the circle, and they pull out these like they look like almost like oranges. They're very bright colored, but they clearly don't need to be peeled because they both just start chewing on them and eating them, and they're getting all over their face. And when they do, they're just the very minor clothing that they're wearing immediately alights in flame and falls to the ground in ash. So they're both nude, and they charge at each other and start basically wrestling. You can see that you can actually smell the flesh burning as they strike each other, and they roll around on the ground wrestling. And as that happens, a man comes up to you and he says, "Take a bet, take a bet, take a bet." He's like an older man. He's a bit kind of short. He's probably like in his like late 30s. So but he's not like an old man. He's just like an older man. And he's got like little slips that seem to have some kind of strange writing on them in one hand, and then he has like a bowl with money, and he's kind of like, "Would you like to bet? You still bet now? And he's looking. He's like, "You got about 30 seconds before the bet's close."
Sure. I'll put 10 coins on the guy on the left.
Okay. So yeah,
Seems like a strapping young lad.
All right, good. Oh yeah, so you put 10 coins on him, and he gives you a slip, and then he moves on. All right, well, you can wrestle with the. You can be the wrestler there.
We'll look at Orin and say, "That must be the sun fruit that we were told about in the other town."
Nice. Yeah. So you be the guy. It's just gonna be straight D20 rolls. Best of 3. So I'll be the guy on the right hand guy. Marvin, his name is.
Marvin.
I don't know. I'm just making it. What do you have to name your guy?
Oh yeah, my guy's name is Brett. Then.
They're not from around here.
No.
All right, good. So yeah, let's go. Roll a d20.
Ooh. All right.
Ooh, I got 17.
I got a natural 20.
Whoa! All right. Well, Marvin thinks he's got a good hold on Brett, but Brett slams him to the ground as you get 1 point. And then we'll do a second round actually you can go first now because you won the first butt, so you get like initiative.
Ooh, nope. That's a 9.
9. 16. Okay, so you charge at Brett charges at Marvin, who comes up with 2 fists and jams him right in the stomach. And now you guys are 1 point each, so we'll roll simultaneously again. Oh, he got a 3.
What did you get?
3.
Oh, I got a 6.
Oh, all right. It's very clumsy, but somehow you managed to get a blow in.
Yeah, I trip and fall and manage to smash into him.
Right, and you kind of look up thinking you missed, but like the crowd's like, "Yeah!" You see Marvin on the ground. as he gets up. But you won that round, so you have 2 points. He has 1 point. One, so you get to go first because you won.
All right. Oh no, a 3.
4. Well, these guys are getting tired.
Fighters.
Yeah, they're getting beaten and they're just exhausted. And you kind of come up to maybe hope to just like kick him in the gut as he's on the ground, but he grabs your leg and he does that Captain Kirk thing where he like flips you and you fall on your back. All right, he's gonna get to go first now because he won, and we both had 2 points. This is a deciding one probably. Come on, roll. Oh my God, you got a 2.
Oh, well, let's just see what I get. I got a 9 again.
Nice. All right. Well, tell us how from laying on your back, how Brett somehow recovers to drop Marvin and win the day.
Okay, so Brett is laying on his back, and he does that thing where you plant your feet and you can just kick right up from your back.
Oh, wow, fancy.
Yeah. And leaps on top of Marvin and just takes him down to the ground and just starts slamming his head into the dirt.
Oh my God.
Until he doesn't move anymore.
Yeah. You don't have to kill him or anything, but okay. Yeah,
no. He's just unconscious.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So people, people cheer. They run out. A guy with like metal mail gloves runs up and like grabs your arm and like holds it up like they do, but clearly he can't touch you because you're like basically on fire. You're not on fire. Your skin is just fiery hot. You're pretty burnt and damaged, Brett, but you're brought back and can have the spoils of your win. And also, as the crowd is kind of like discussing and talking and stuff, the man who took the bets comes back, and he gives you back your 10 coins, 10 silver coins. He gives you 10 more.
Nice.
Yeah. Well done.
Well, that was lucky.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You are loaded. So yeah, you can see this is going on. I mean, it looks like they seem to be doing this throughout the day. Like people break up and they start doing sales and stuff again. But you can see that you can see other people from earlier that were in fights because you can see them burnt and they're kind of like taped up. So you can see this is something that they probably do quite frequently. And yeah, so you want to get some food?
Yes, I would like to get some food. Excuse me. And this is my first time in the Death Roll Kingdom, so anything exotic looking, I just kind of want to explore and see what I can see.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you look around and you can see, they've got a lot of, they've got dried, they call it cracker fish, which is like kind of a dried fish and it's like a cracker basically. And they have that, and that's good for rations because it lasts. It's like a hardtack basically, but it's fish, so it has like a nice kind of fishy taste. And with it, they sell a. I put it down there. Immediately forgot it. Deer root, which is kind of like it's basically like a carb, and sweet resin, which is like kind of like a syrupy. You can put it on. It's like sweet, like maple syrup. I want to think about it. That's kind of their like basic ration. But of course, there's also fresh food. So maybe you get some rations so you have them, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're just looking right now. But you can get, there's mostly for fresh. That's fish, of course. They eat it, like basically sushi style. They eat it raw for the most part. Well, they have the fresh fish kind of in these. They've got the same baskets that you've been seeing, and you actually come up to some of the stalls, and you can see they're actually full of water. They're not even like leaking. Maybe you look at it, and it you can tell they're the same material, but they're woven differently with an incredibly tight weave that, or something, because there's actually full of water. And you can see people they'll pull a fish out, and they have like a butcher block there, and they carve it up very beautifully, and they serve it with rice basically, and also there's fruit, so you're able to eat. A few silver pieces will get you, some good food as you're kind of looking around. You do notice that while there are crocodiles kind of coming and going, they don't seem to necessarily, they're not like hanging out with the humans, That most of them that are doing any interaction with humans are basically, they have humans with them, whether they be servants or whatever. It's hard to, or friends. I mean, probably servants, where you can see where there's like like I said, like thongs around their neck and stuff. But other times they're just walking with humans. And the humans seem to interact with the humans, with the crocodiles kind of standing back. Um, though, you do hear, at least, if you're kind of walking around, you're curious about this, obviously, you do hear them talking, and they do, in fact, speak a common tongue. It's very kind of like, like kind of deep voices, but they do actually speak the same language that you do. The language of man, as it would be.
Oh, that's delightful. Okay. I will talk to
Let's see if I
one
can
of the
find it right now.
vendors that I'm eating, probably eating some fruit and things like that.
Mhm.
And I will say, what a fine day for trade. I've just arrived here, and I'd be happy to have any information you could give me about navigating this strange place.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so the vendor, he's a human. He's actually missing his arm from from his left arm, actually, from his elbow down. He tells you that oh yes, during this time of year is great trade here, as the the water is rich with fish, and the mountains yield great treasures of fruit and berries and deer root. He says that if you're new here, you should know that you cannot stay upon the island of Singa at night unless you have authorization. And he kind of looks at you and says, it's not something you really want to do unless you really need to stay. He says, the Trader Island, though, and he kind of like points, although he's pointing through buildings, so you can't really see anything, but he's pointing back towards it. He says, you can't miss it. Everyone will head there near the end of the day. It looks kind of like a face. He says, anyone may stay there. And there are, most of the residents will rent you a space on their floor to sleep if you plan to stay. And he says, he does see that you probably pay him with silver, and he says, here on the island, the silver is very useful, but as you progress through the kingdoms, most people will work with barter. So if you're planning on going deeper into the kingdoms, you may want to buy here items that could be traded, as silver will be useless to those who live, away from the civilization.
What kind of items do they like?
It could be anything that they might need. So you could buy like weapons, although there's not that many weapons here, but like daggers, like metal daggers, as they often are making just flint weapons out in the further up the stream. You could buy a rope, is another made from the oh man, now I forgot the name of it. Sorry. There's a special. I'm just going to call it leaf. We'll call it leaf right now because I can't remember the name of it, but I will let you know as soon as I remember it. There's a special leaf, and he actually mentions, he points it out, that these baskets and stuff are made out of. He says when treated correctly, it's lighter and stronger even than wood. And he kind of like he motions you to touch it, and you can feel that like these baskets are like, when you look at them, like you're used to like woven baskets being kind of like, you lift them and they kind of stretch and stuff, but these are almost like solid. And he says, treated correctly, they can be water resistant, and you may notice that many of the canoes here are made from these leaves because they weigh about only maybe 1/4 what a typical canoe like the one you have. I mean, he doesn't know what you have, but you would know like what one you have would weigh. Your canoe's like a burnt out, like a big tree and they burnt out the middle of it, kind of standard canoe.
Right, like a birch bark canoe.
Yeah. Like a birch bark canoe, yeah. So, but these are very light. He says, so the leaves are very useful. To them, honey is something that is hard to come by. And looking at my trade goods, I just finally get to stuff. Sun fruit, although quite expensive, is something. Also, he kind of looks around. He says, while it may not be looked upon by some in favor, teak semen is quite valuable when you get about 10 days up the river.
Teak semen?
Yes, yeah, teak semen.
She says
yes.
quietly.
Yeah, he kind of leans in. He says, "Well, I'm going to just read it to you because it's good.
All right.
Only produced through ritual intercourse. Basically, a shaman must fuck a suitable tree. After climax, its trunk oozes a fatty sap. Hold on. Set in a teardrop shape like candies, any woman who swallows one will become pregnant with a teak nymph."
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, so it's kind of considered taboo to do this, but sometimes women will do it because the teak nymphs themselves are quite valuable, to be sold.
Yes, Yuna is equal parts fascinated and horrified by that story.
Yes, so yeah, you could. There's also he says, here it is. It's called Tohei leather. Is the leaves. Tohei is the palm leaves, and they call it Tohei leather. He also says, be careful of those who try to sell you spirit mango. Whether or not it actually exists is still kind of debatable.
So some people might want to try to profit off the rumor and sell me something mundane and pretend like it's...
Well, the thing with spirit mango is, unless you have the proper intelligence and soul, you cannot see it. It is ethereal. So, few would like to admit that they cannot see it, and thus they end up purchasing it. So I would avoid the spirit mango. Now, if you actually do see a spirit mango, that will be good. But he says, I think they're all hucksters because I can't see them, and that means it must not be there because clearly I am intelligent. And he laughs.
Well, you have been very helpful. I'll give him a couple more coins for his information.
Okay. Yeah, he says, where have you come from?
The south, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've come from the south.
Oh, I see.
Up the river.
Oh, you look to be...
Adventure.
Yes, you look to be the adventuring types. I mean, he sees, obviously, you're armed, so he sees that, which is a little bit unusual. And you're also dressed differently than most people. He says, yes, be wary. While there is no law against invading the ruins, and he kind of leans forward, he says, adventurers do it all the time. Be careful the overlords do not hear of you doing it.
The overlords. Those would be the crocodiles?
Yep, he nods.
Yep.
Yes. They fear that entering the ruins might release those that have been trapped and bring back what was before.
Superstitious, then, the crocodiles.
Well, they say many, many generations ago it was the crocodiles who saved us from ourselves.
Saved the humans from themselves. Interesting.
Yes, there was blasphemy of the gods, and the crocodiles have since put that to an end.
All right. Well, I appreciate your information. And you said we could stay on this trader island, so that's good to know.
Yes, he says he actually tells you in a few hours I will be heading up river to trade in a northern port, or else I would give you a better direction. But he says if you were to stay, if you look for a woman named Uma, Oh, which is close to your name, but not Yuna, but Uma. um, she is, he knows her, and he says he sometimes stays with her. Uh, she has a small place where you could sleep on the ground or whatever. She lays out like mats or whatever for people to sleep, and serves some minor food and stuff out kind of in front of her hovel.
One more question. Do people go into the ruins anyway, even though the crocodiles don't like it?
He looks around and says, "Oh, yes. For how could you get the things that are in the ruins? Vast magical artifacts, coin, as you show here, gems. Once I saw a man with a gem as big as my fist." And he actually holds up his hand with his no arm. And then he goes, then on my fist. He said he took it from the eye of a statue, just ripe for the picking.
All right. Well, I can certainly be discreet.
Yeah, he smiles. He says you may want to, he's a food guy, so he doesn't have anything to sell you, but you may want to consider changing up your attire to fit in if you want to be discreet.
Good suggestion. Thank you. And yes, I will look for a clothing store.
Okay, yeah. So he set you up with whatever if you want some of the dry rations as well, and some food and some information. You give him some coin. Yeah, you could find people selling. I mean, it's not really stores, but there's like people just selling stuff. You can get some of the clothing for a few coins. Get a couple outfits. Again, they're pretty simple stuff. It's probably like a loincloth that you tie around, and possibly like like the ones that cross like this, like very simple, kind of think almost like I wish I had a picture to show you, and I probably do have a picture. Hold on, I will show a picture because I feel like pictures are always good. A picture is worth 1,000 words, or so they say. And I love the art in this book, so I like to show it off.
Sure.
Let's see. There's a whole middle section here that has a bunch of pictures of people's clothing. So just get an idea of what people are wearing and what you would be. Okay, here we go. All right, let me share this. It's probably going to be very small for anybody watching, but they can just buy the book. That's it right there. Oh, there you go. All right, so you can see either robes, these are more elaborate robes here, or more simple stuff, which is like a loincloth. These are the baskets, of course, a woman might wear something like that, so it's more, or not, I mean, and then you can get to, and also you do see quite a bit of tattooing. So yeah, and their weapons are a little bit different than, you're normally seeing. You can see some of the swords that are different, from them, the areas you come from, but you'd still be able to use them fine if you can use a sword. I mean, clearly you have weapons, so you don't need that yet. But who knows what might happen? Yeah, so it'll be stuff like that. You can just imagine it doesn't cost that much. I mean, you can get for 4 or 5 coins, you can get a change of clothing, some sandals, that type of thing.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Did you want to buy trade goods now, or are you gonna not deal with that right now?
Not yet,
Okay.
because I'm still not sure where I'm going.
Okay, no, it makes sense. Sorry, yeah, I didn't want to not allow you to do that because you mentioned it, and then I kind of moved on. Yeah, so right now coins easier to carry. That's for damn sure. And yeah, I mean, you can hang out here. There's more fights that are going on if you want to take part in any more gambling. You don't see. So I will say this: if you look around for the things that he talked about, you don't really see the sunfruit or the teak semen being sold openly. The rest of the stuff, the deer root, the crackerfish, the stuff, even honey, which you find honey is very expensive. I mean, honey's expensive everywhere, but it seems to be incredibly valuable. It's one of the few places where you see armed people. The places where they're selling honey, there's usually somebody there's a sword sitting on the ground next to them, whatever, and they sell small small jars of honey. But things like rope and the leaves and stuff. You see both the leaves made into baskets, and you see the leaves sold independently as more like trade good. And again, you see people coming in barges, like buying large quantities and making deals in that sense as well. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Cool. Yeah. Did you want to interact with anybody else here, or you want to jump to the Face Island place? Face Island.
I think she'd probably want to watch another fight, get a sense.
Okay.
Of things.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we can do another fight. This one is going to be Roger.
Roger.
I'm totally thinking, there's actually a thing of names here, I think. I'm just like totally naming people with bad names. Sorry. Yeah, Roger. And they're actually fighting with staves. They don't use the fruit. So they have like kind of a bamboo-y, like lightweight staffs.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, do you want to fight it? We can fight again. We'll just do it the same way. Simplified method here. All right. So each one at the same time, and we'll see what happens. Oh, Roger did not do very well.
Well, let's see. I got to name my guy, don't I?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll say his name is Mark. Since we're doing bad names, I got a 16.
Oh yes, Mark whacks Roger very hard across the face, and Roger stumbles back with an 8. Yeah, and you won, so you get to go again.
10.
Oh no, 12. Oh, you come forward, with some gusto, but Roger comes back and smacks you. So it's 1-1, and Roger's going to swing again with an 11. Go ahead.
Nope, 8.
Oh no, Roger's laying down the hammer with 2-1 right now, and he's going to go again. Oh no, you haven't gone yet. No, you did. You got an 8, right? Okay, so
Correct.
We'll go simultaneous again. 12.
Oh, 14.
Oh, all right. The comeback. All right, so it's 2-2, and you get to go because you beat.
Crack him in the ribs. 12.
13.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Roger comes around with the swing, and he cracks right into the side of you just as you also hit him in the side. He stumbles back, and you go down. He's about to fall, and he just puts his staff on the ground so he doesn't fall, and he stands just the requisite few seconds so that the ref can call it, and now you lost that time, unfortunately. So yes. You lost your. I'm assuming you bet 10 again just because you did before.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, you broke even. You're actually doing good now. I mean, unless you have a gambling problem, then you might stick to it.
No, I think she's good.
All right. Yeah. You can see there's other kind of things too. Like there. You can see that. Oh, right. Since you hung out extra time, you get to see something. So you hear right after this fight, like immediately, like last time people kind of gathered for a bit and they were talking about it and they were like, oh, whatever. This time they seem to break off almost immediately and everybody starts heading down towards the water. And they seem very excited.
Oh. Well, we have to see what they're all excited about, so let's follow them.
All right, excellent. Yeah, so there is a guy. It's funny. His name is close to yours. His name is Orem, not Oren. You hear people talking, and he is trying to vie for citizenship. So the way this works, you get to the shore. Essentially, Orem, who's a young man, very well built. He's just he's dressed just in like a simple loincloth or whatever. He drops off his sandals and strips down. He walks out into the water, about chest deep, and then he kind of just stands there. And when he does, a crocodile gets into the water too and starts swimming towards him. And he just stands there as the crocodile grabs him, and then goes under. And everybody just starts talking. They're actually taking bets. about whether or not he's going to die. So they're like, "Oh, will he make it? Is he going to do it? Is he going to?" So, do you want to bet on whether or not Orm is going to make it?
No, I don't think she would bet on if someone's going to die.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's see if he does or not. High, low.
All right. Ooh, hi.
All right. So high he lives because you want him to live, I guess.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So after a few minutes, you see the tail splashing a little bit, and the crocodile comes up and swims back towards the shore, and everybody's just kind of like, oh. And then standing up out of the water is Orm, who is missing a hand, and he's kind of clutching it under his arm like this. His blood is squirting out, and he takes his other arm and he goes, "Yes!" And he starts stumbling towards shore, and a couple of people run out and help him and start wrapping his hand up. And you would hear from people talking that he is now a citizen and can live basically on the main body of land there, the main island, for he has survived the death roll.
The price is high.
Yeah,
Price
I
is
mean,
very
you could lose more than that. They tell you. I mean, it really comes down to, or nothing. It really kind of comes down to.
I look at Orin and I say, I don't think we want to try that. At least, not yet. Not straight,
yet.
Anyway.
Not without stacking the deck in your favor.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. Eh? Awesome. Yeah. So you definitely encounter that, and then as it starts to get later, you can see people are starting to spread out. So about like 3 or 4 o'clock, probably about a third to between a half and a third of the people start to roll up their carpets and carry their little tables away. A lot of the bigger barges have left, and you see those people. They're in like slightly larger boats for the most part, and they're like going up the river further or down these like side tributaries. They're basically not staying locally, so they're leaving earlier. But maybe you hang out and have like a little bit more food or like some like a beer or whatever. There's definitely vendors set up where they have like a table and that they're serving it's actually probably mead more likely. It's made from honey, and you can sit down and drink or whatever. So it's kind of get into like the chill mode. Anybody who had to sell stuff that didn't sell anything is lowering their prices. That kind of stuff's going on. And let me see if you see any.
Yeah, I would definitely want to sit and have a drink. Try to listen to some gossip or talk to somebody.
Oh,
who would sit.
Perfect. You can 100% do that. Yeah, so you sit down. I mean, there's several of these things around, and maybe like since you don't know anybody, you maybe find one that's not occupied at first, just to kind of get a feel for it. But after you've had a drink or two, and the woman whose name is Yana, who runs this, she's pretty friendly, and she's not really telling you much they haven't heard already from the guy that you ate the food with. But a couple people sit down who seem to be, I mean, I'm assuming you didn't change it, you just bought stuff, who seem to be dressed in a similar fashion to you, like from the south. And they are armed, like they have swords and stuff on them. And they probably see that you are also clearly adventuring types with like backpacks and weapons and such. And they sit down and they say, "Aha! Good to see another from the south."
Yes, it is good to see other people who aren't crocodiles or slaves to crocodiles. What brings you here?
We have heard. And they kind of look around. Actually, they don't look around that much. They're being louder than they probably maybe should be based on what you've been told. It's we have heard of great treasures from ancient civilizations. We plan to take them back to the south and build huge mansions and have acres of land and retire rich and fat.
She'll sip her beer. She'll say, "That sounds like a fantastic plan for you. We are just here to see the sights." maybe get to talk to a crocodile or two.
Cool. So they introduce themselves as Cedric and Alistar. They are cousins. They're human, of course. They're both male. They are they're like in they're like mid-20s. They say that they've never spoken to a crocodile. Although this is now their second trip. They actually went past this island the first time, and went further up and did some exploring, and then realized that they should probably be better equipped. So they decided to stop here to set up with gear before they head up for a second run.
So you didn't see anything worth seeing further up?
Well, we did spy some ruins that looked promising, but when we got there, they seemed to have been collapsed into the ground, and we needed more rope and tackle to get down there. We figured why climb down and not be able to carry the treasures up. So we are going to get some rope. We're going to get some baskets and some block and tackles, and possibly hire some of these men to help us carry the gear. We have a small boat, and we will head out in a few days once we found some retainers.
Well, I would be careful. I don't know if the men will go into the ruins, will they?
Well, men will do anything for money.
I see. That is true. Anything for money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wish you luck on your endeavors.
Thank you. And they raise a cup and yeah. I mean, if you want to ask them anything specifically, they might know stuff. Yeah, but they're definitely not. This is the first time on this island, though, they said, so they don't know too much about this part. But go ahead and let me know.
First, I would ask them, have you heard of, in your travels further into the island, anything that could help you breathe underwater?
Oh, well, no. Not particularly. We've heard of great wizards in the south that can do that.
But nothing up here?
No. Under the water is just the old city. Although, you might be onto something there. But that just seems much more difficult than heading up into the dry land where we know there's more ruins. Though that would be uncharted. They kind of look at each other.
I was actually wondering more because, the humans seem to have, or the crocodiles have human slaves, and I didn't know if they had anything where they could take them underwater with them. And just wondering how things work around here.
Oh, that is a good question. Well, it's the first time for us here, so we've not seen that. The woman who runs the store there, she says, I have heard of some crocodiles bringing their humans under the water, but I believe that they are, magical wizards, if you will. I mean, I'm not sure that wizards actually exist, but that's what we're told. Some of these crocodiles can conjure great magical spells.
Interesting.
Although, if you live around here long enough, you do learn how to hold your breath for a long time. And then she takes a drink herself.
I bet that is a skill that is very, very in need in these islands.
Yes, it is. She laughs.
I look at the Cedric and Alistar and I say, how far upriver did you go before you got to the ruins?
About 6 days-ish.
6 days? Did you see, were there many people going upriver? Is it a well-traveled route?
Oh, yes. Yes, the river is quite well-traveled. But we didn't stop in any town. We kind of went off the side and climbed up into the ruins. Some of them can be seen from the river, but we figured those would be picked clean. But where there's one ruin, there's more, right?
That seems to be the way of things, yes. But like I said, I'm just here to sightsee,
Ah,
so yes.
sure. Well, that makes sense. This is a strange place, and that would explain wanting to go underwater.
Yes, snorkeling.
Hmm.
Um, um, she'll ask, did you see many crocodiles on your way upriver, or other creatures?
No, the most of the crocodiles are here. There are, creatures, but those crocodiles that are like the ones here are basically here in this region. Once you travel a day or more upriver, then no, you don't see them so much. You see them here and there, but they don't seem to be the same.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for your company. And hopefully you will enjoy your sightseeing, and we'll see you again.
Oh, yes, I'm sure we'll run into each other again if you're planning on staying around. So,
Yes, well, as I said, we need to get some retainers. So they get up and they actually throw some coin on the table to maybe pay for the last couple of drinks, and then they head off. To looks like they're trying to buy some equipment.
right.
As things are wrapping up, people are rolling up their carpets. They're just like, "Whoa, hold on,"
And look at Orin and say, they don't really believe in wizards, according to that woman. So let's keep a low profile. All right. Yeah, she also says those ruins sound interesting, but I'm really interested in those ones under the water. We need to figure that out, Orin, with your alchemy. You need to figure this out.
Yeah, you might be able to.
Because, yes, I really want to go do that.
That does sound pretty exciting.
But for now, we should probably make our way over to the Trader Island.
Yeah, and you can definitely do that. I mean, when you get down to the dock, you can see that most of the boats, are gone. The small boats, anyways, from your dock, which seems to be like a public dock. Your boat's there, of course. Nobody mess with it, and you're able to, it takes maybe like 10 minutes just to row over there. You can see it's pretty close. And again, same thing. There's like public docks you can just tie up, and you can see that. Oh, actually, there's a picture of it. Since we're in that mode now, I'll show you pictures. There's a picture of it. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but it's always fun. Isn't that one? Those are the people. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry. See, I don't have the Medicam thing like you, so I don't have it all set up.
It's okay, I'm just thinking.
Oh yeah.
Gives me time to think for a second.
Yes. You must think. Is it not in this book? It may not be. Oh, hold on. It's called Trader Island. Trader Island, there it is. Yeah, that's it. Let's go back to Zoom. Oh, there's the roller. Share screen. Okay, so it kind of looks like that. You can see it's like a face. I don't know if you can see my mouse when I do that, can you?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there's like the nose is here. This is and everything on this island, as I said, is made of wood and like reeds and stuff. So it's nothing here is stone at all. I mean, the face itself is stone, of course, but it's very ancient and clearly there's like a layer of dirt over it because you can see that there's like bushes and things all around. You see all the canoes pulled up. You're able to pull up in this kind of public dock area here down at the bottom, and you can see that there's like stairs going up. It's like a wooden staircase that's kind of like the main street that goes through, and then of course you can walk all around. And you were told that, like I said, that these people live here, but they rent out space for the people who that want to stay. But you also do see some people with just like bedrolls, just laying, setting them up like outdoor camping, if you will. So you see that as well.
I was told to look for Uma.
That's right.
But I'm not sure which house is hers.
Yeah, if you want to ask people, I mean, there's people around. It's not like it's not deserted or anything.
Yeah, I would find a person and
okay.
be a nice person I am. I
Uh,
am looking for Uma's house, Uma's residence. I was told to find Uma.
Excellent. Yeah. So you I mean, you just ask somebody who's there, like tying a boat up or whatever, and they immediately know who it is. I mean, there's only like maybe 20, 30 houses on this whole place. So, yeah, they point you up onto the cheek, and which house it is. They point it out, and you can walk over to it if you'd like. And when you get there, you see that it's like a small, relatively small building. It's probably like maybe 20 by 20 total. There is actually like another like maybe almost like 7 to 10 foot and covered, I guess is what you call it, like a covered porch. So like kind of there's like a roof, and then there's like the wooden planks, and even like a little fence around it with an entrance. And out there you see some tables, and there's a handful of people sitting there. They seem to be sipping tea and eating, some kind of soup or broth. And there's like an older woman who's kind of just standing up at a table talking to people.
All right, I will walk up to her and I will say, Uma, are you Uma? I'm Yuna. Uma Yuna, oh boy.
That'll be fun, huh? She says, oh yes, I am. Oh, well, nice to meet you. She looks you up and down. She says, oh, you must be visiting.
Yes, I am, and I met a very nice gentleman who sells fruit and food in the marketplace, who recommended I find you that you might have a space for me to stay.
Oh, excellent. Yes, of course. There's always room. Would you like to be out on the outside porch here or inside? And she motions so you can look in there if you want.
Yes, I'll look in.
So inside, it's basically divided. Because you saw the dimensions of the outside, it looks like it's divided in half. So when you first walk in, there's like a bit of a hallway, and you can see that they're not individual rooms, but it's like a more enclosed space. Where there's like areas set up. There's actually like straw mats, like lined up. Not right next to each other. There's space between each one. And there's some windows with shades on them and stuff, and then off to one side is where she stays, because it's like a separate like curtained off area, and you also see like a little like a fire in there with the big some pots hanging over it that she's clearly cooking the food with.
I look at Orin and I say, why don't we sleep outside tonight? Seems like a nice night. Wait, Uma, how bad are the mosquitoes here?
Oh, they're not too bad, relatively speaking. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
No, they're not so bad. If you want to stay outside, then she says, then basically you just like roll your own bedroll out on the thing, and it is 1 coin each. If you want to stay inside, it's 3 coins each. But inside you get a mat, and obviously it's more secure. But she doesn't care. You can do whatever you want. And she says, okay, that's fine. Would you like some food and drink?
No, we've eaten quite a bit today on the other island, sampling the beautiful fish and rice and fruit.
Oh, excellent. Well, at least have some tea. You won't be able to sleep yet. It's still light out. And she kind of looks up.
Oh yeah, what time is it?
Oh, it's like maybe like 7 o'clock.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like the. Did I say what time of year it was? I think it's the. We'll say it's like the spring. So it gets dark like in like another hour or so, but maybe a little bit longer. But people aren't sleeping yet. I mean, they're still eating and stuff.
Well, we'll be back. I just wanted to find you, make sure we
Oh,
can
okay.
stay. We're gonna walk around a little bit, walk around the island, walk around the village.
Oh, excellent. You can definitely do that. Let me look at my random chart here. Okay, yeah. So she says, "I'll hold a space for you," and then you can walk around. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll let you roll because I like that. Roll 2d6 total.
2d6.
Yeah, like a.
Okay. Got my... Give you the total. Oh, 3.
Yeah, 3. Oh, perfect. Wow, that's a terrible
1
roll.
and a 2. It is. I rolled a 1 and a 2, so yeah, 3.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting.
I love it when you say that, Daniel.
Oh, okay. All right. So it looks like there's there's 2 options here. So let's see. I take the weirdest one. So you're walking, and you hear kind of like a gruff voice. I mean, you're probably heading towards the nose because that's pretty much you're going to go towards the center because that's what people would do. And you usually walking up that pathway, and you hear kind of a gruff voice, and it says, "You don't look like you're from around here."
I hear it from behind me.
Yep, like kind of behind and off to the side. You didn't. There's a lot of people around, so you probably passed somebody, and they're now talking to you, but you didn't notice them.
All right. Well, I will stop and turn towards the voice.
All right, there's a bear. He is he's about like maybe like 9 feet tall. I mean, he's sitting on his 2 feet, of course. He is actually got he's got that loincloth like wrapped up, and he's got these like beautiful like bronze bracers on his arms that seem to have various like symbols on them, and then he's wearing like a beautiful like a bronze necklace with you would reckon it could be like some kind of a holy symbol. Um, and yeah, he says, "How long you been here?"
I don't believe. Not long. I don't believe we've met though.
Oh, I'm sorry. You?
I'm Yuna, and this is Orin.
Oh, Yuna and Orin. Huh?
What is your name?
Yuna and Orin. Huh. Those names don't sound candies. Are you candies?
I don't think so because I don't know what you mean, good bear.
Oh. Really? How did you know my name then?
Bear? Your name is Bear?
Yes, don't act surprised. You said it.
Well, in where I come from, everybody that looks like you is called Bear.
Oh. Well, that must be confusing. You're definitely not from Candies then. Maybe you can help me. I'm looking for some people from Candies. They've been in violation of the trade tariff that we got going on here. And I was hired to come down and locate them. Come to think of it, he's kind of looking at you. Yeah, you're not blue either.
No, we're not blue.
And you have hair on your head. And you have hair on your head. I guess it could be a disguise. Yeah, you're not from Candies. Where you from? Hey, I'm Bear. He sticks out his hand.
Yes, I will take his paw
hmm
and shake it. And I'll say, we are from the south. We are not from Candies.
Oh, well, that's good because they've been violating some trade tariffs.
With the crocodiles?
Right. Well, just in general, but yes, with crocodiles.
Do you work for the crocodiles, Mr.
I
Bear?
like to think of myself as a freelancer. I go where the work is. I'm kind of a bit of a detective. You may have noticed I was very perceptive. I spotted
Yes.
you right there out of the crowd. I knew right away that you weren't from around here.
Yes, you did. I congratulate you on your observational skills, good bear. So,
Thank you.
these people you're looking for, they're from Candies, and
That's
they
right,
violated a
Candies.
treaty.
Yep. They're not paying their tariffs.
Well, how can I help?
Oh, well, if you see them, but you don't know what Candies people look like, so how would you know?
Exactly. Why don't you tell me what they look like?
Well, they look a bit like you, except their skin is blue and they don't have any hair on their bodies. I mean, like, you barely have any hair, but they don't have any hair. That must get cold in the winter.
Well, we can buy clothing to keep us warm.
Oh, yeah? What kind of clothing? Not furs, I hope.
Oh no, robes
And then,
made of cotton and linen and things like that.
yeah, he winks. he
Yeah.
starts laughing. Yeah, I'm just. I mean,
I said, where are you from? Are you from these islands? Or I have never seen
oh
a
no.
bear like you.
Oh, I'm from the north, in bear country. Yeah. I mean,
The
you wouldn't have
north?
guessed, I suppose.
I didn't know there was. Is your whole country bears, or is it like this where there's crocodiles and humans? Are there bears and humans together?
Yeah, I mean, the humans come to visit. It can be beautiful there, especially in the winter. But it gets cold, as I said, so you gotta wear something. I was testing you.
Well, I would love to visit. That's
Well,
why we're here. We're here seeing the sights.
I see. Well, if you do see those people and you want to let me know, I could, cut you in a little bit on the reward.
Yes, I will keep my eye out for them, for sure. Blue skin, that doesn't sound like it's common here. How will I know? Is it common here? How will I know if it's the right people?
Or you could ask them. That's usually my first technique, as you may have noticed. I'll take you under my wing here. If you see somebody that you think might be the people, you just ask them.
But that might cause them to run away. What if I'd have run from you?
Oh, you can't run from a bear.
Well,
You're on
what
an
if,
island. Where are
true,
you going to go?
I could have tried to run to my boat. What if they have boats that they can escape on?
Well, that would not be very fair. In bear country, once somebody spots you, you just give up because that's the way it is. You got to follow the law.
Well,
You're telling me that people from Candies will run?
I'm telling you that sometimes people do things you don't expect, and these people might run from you. I mean, you are a bear.
I am a bear.
Some people are afraid of bears.
Well, I don't know why that would be the case. Bears are very nice. Especially me.
Like, yes, you seem very nice. But I think these people might try to run from you. Especially if you tell them why you want to talk to them.
Hmm.
If they're in violation and they don't want to be caught, wouldn't they run?
Well, not if I. Hmm. He kind of claps down on his butt and starts thinking. You know, I may have to rethink my process here. You're a smart one.
Well, I'm glad that we met because I can be a little more discreet. You are a very fine bear, but you do stand out. I can blend in a little bit, at least. I have different clothing and different things I can wear, and maybe I can find these people for you and get them to not run.
Well, like I said, I can cut you in on the reward. It's a good one.
Oh, how good.
He like leans in. 6 pots of honey.
Oh, honey is quite valuable and delicious.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to get. You ever stick your nose in a beehive?
I have not.
I don't recommend it.
Well, I will not do that now. See, we teach each other things here.
Yeah. This is how it should be. I like you.
All right,
You
Mr.
know.
Bear, how will I know where to find you if I do see these people?
Well, I'm here.
You don't go to the other island? You're not going to leave soon?
Do you think they might be on the other island?
These people who are in violation, how close were they with the crocodiles? Do you know if they have permission to stay over there?
I don't know. I just got here, to be honest with you. Just, yeah. This is my first day. Normally, I'm just in bear country. So it's all new to me. So they could be
Well,
over there, I suppose.
and you know that they are here, though, in this part of the thousand island chain.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of islands. Hmm. Hmm. He kind of like goes in this like symbol thing that he has on his neck and with this big claws. He's like, and he takes like his claw and he sticks it in the center and he pulls it out and he takes this like, it's like a curled piece like this. So you could like he explains you could put it like over your ears like an earring, but like not through the ear. It's like goes around it. And he says, "I'll give you this, and then if you need me, you just call, and I will come."
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, she'll take that.
Okay, try it.
Okay, she'll put it on her ear carefully. Mr. Bear,
I'm
come
right
quickly, I
here.
need you. But I'm standing right next to you. How do I should probably walk away from you and see if it works.
No, I mean if it worked there, it should
Okay.
work fine. I mean, try
Oh,
it.
okay.
Now, hold on. He like lifts up the rest of it and he like talks into it like this, and you can actually hear it in your ear.
Oh,
And he says, "Yuna, Yuna,
yes, you're right. It's working.
I told you.
Wow.
Bear
This
magic
is
is the best magic."
it is quite a gift, Mr. Bear. I have nothing to offer you in return except my promise that I will help you and try to find these people.
Okay, I trust everyone on their word.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's we'll talk about that maybe when I find these people about maybe sometimes you shouldn't be quite so trusting. But
Oh, well, I figure that people don't lie to bears, you know, because we would
well,
kill them.
they'd be very foolish to lie to bears. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to continue my exploration. Maybe I'll see these people tonight before I turn in for the night.
Excellent. And he turns around. He gets up because he was in dead, and he starts walking down towards the water. He's humming a song, as bears do.
Okay, I'm just writing it down. Wow, that was cool.
Yeah,
I look
that
at
was a
Orin
bear,
and I
man.
say, "The magic is this now. You must study it, Orin, at some point. But now we have to keep an eye out for these blue men or women, people."
Yeah, they're blue. So hopefully you'll be able to see them. All right, cool. So you head up towards the top, which again is where people would generally head, and you can see that there's definitely a large-ish structure up there, and you see that there are a lot of people kind of lined up to speak to a man who's sitting there. He's sitting on like a box with like a table in front of him. He's got a couple of like workers or whatever on the other side of him, and people are kind of standing in line to talk to him. They seem to be having discussions with him and then handing him various amounts of money, which he's kind of stacking up next to him. So
I will walk up to the last person in line and I will say, "What are we queuing for?"
oh well, now we can find the page. There we go. To see Mahatnat. Mahatnat. Yeah, that's how I say it, I guess. Mahanat. Mahatnat. Mahatnat. Yeah, that's how I say it.
Not yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he is actually he runs the he's like the union boss, I guess, for like a better word, for the stevedores. So they say, if we use his men, we pay him, and then he pays them. That way, they're sure to get the money. If you just give it directly to them, you won't know if they got it or not. So by giving it to Muhammad, then we're sure that they get the money.
Oh. She looks a little puzzled. I suppose that makes sense.
That's right.
Well, I probably don't need to talk to him right now.
No. He does live on the nose, which is kind of interesting. I mean, this guy doesn't tell you that. You see that. And yeah, go ahead and do a charisma, or just a DC 12 charisma check. So roll a D20 plus your charisma modifier. If you have, not personality. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I got a 6.
Yeah, he's not that interested in talking to you beyond that. When you say that you don't need to talk to him, he's like, okay. And he's got his money to pay to the guy that will then pay the other people that did the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Mahatnat, the merchant lord who lives on the nose.
Yeah. I might have to talk to Mahatnat eventually, but
might need to. He's probably somebody you're going to want to talk to. Yeah, so as you are kind of heading back to, because we're getting close to our cut time here, to Uma's, we'll say it's getting later. We will let me have any final thoughts or anything you're thinking, and we'll kind of continue as you're making your connections in the Death Roll Kingdom. If there's anything else you want to, any thoughts or anything you want to say before we cut off for the day?
I just want to keep an eye out for the blue guys.
Okay.
because I promised Mr. Bear. And I will look at Orin and I'll say, well, this is going to be a lot of fun. And very lucrative, I think.
Probably.
But we
All right.
need to figure out a way to breathe underwater. And that's my last
Yes.
thought.
That's an interesting one, right? All right, cool. And we'll find out next week, I guess.